Hey crafters, it's Julie Creek from Creek Bank Creations. I'm here to share with you today Step Die 4. This is a basic card die. The great thing about this die is that one die can cut many different kinds of cards. We're going to go over that today. I'm going to show with you how to use the die, and then I'll share with you some tips that I've figured out along the way. We're going to start with the middle step die, and we're going to make a basic card out of that. You want to start with an A2 card size, which is a piece of paper 5.5 by 8.5. We want to locate our paper and fold that paper in half. I know some of you like to use a scoreboard, but for our video today, we're just going to fold it in half. We've located our die. We're going to place the die on our card. Now, normally we would have to center the die and measure it with the ruler. I always make a jig for my die. The jig's already pre-cut from 65-pound cardstock. I always make them from orange so I can locate them, and I store the jig with my die. This particular jig is 1 1/4 inches across the bottom and 1/2 inch on both sides. That gives me the center step card that we saw in the very beginning. I'm going to lay the die down, and when I lay the die down, you can feel that die sit right against the edge of that paper, and then all I have to do is tape the die into place with some washi tape. Now, every time I cut the die, all I have to do is get that paper jig out, line up my pieces, and die cut. I'm going to take it out of the machine, and I use Undo Adhesive Remover to remove the washi tape so that it doesn't peel off the paper from the front of my card. I know some people use removable tape. I just haven't gotten there and keep meaning to pick it up, and I just keep forgetting, and the Undo works, so that's what I use. We're going to unfold the card, and you'll see we have the 2 long cuts on either side, and then we have the score marks down the middle. You want to locate the score closest to the edge and fold it down. Now, we're not folding all the way across, just in that center panel. Work your way back and forth, folding mountain and valley till you get to the back. Push the back down, and then push your scores down. We are not folding all the way over on that side edge. We want that straight. That just made our base of card, and now we're ready to decorate the card however we want to. I've accented our card today with Creek Bank Creations Scribble Flower and stamped pieces from the Paper Artsy Joffy line. We do have this stamp set on our website. We also sell the Paper Artsy products at shows when we travel around the country. So come to a show and you can see that line in person. So that's how you make that basic card. You can see it's an A2 size. It fits in a standard size envelope. I also want to share with you how to offset that die, which totally changes the look of your card structure. I really like this because you can do some fun things with the landscape elements. Just a fun card to give. So what I want to share with you, when I designed this card, I wanted to put that stamp on there, but I wanted to have a background on it that was not white. So I got to thinking about how we could accomplish that, and that's what I want to share with you. So what you want to do is get your A2 card size, like we did for the first card. That's 5.5 by 8.5. Fold that card in half, and then I've cut a mat for the front of that card, and I've cut this in blue, so it's kind of hard to see. Later on, I'll pull it up. There we go, so you can see it better. And I glue that down with wet glue, and I try to get the glue right where I know that die line is going to cut, so I have good adhesion all over. We're going to glue that down, center it on the panel, and push it down. This is Tonic Tacky Craft Glue that I'm using with a special needle nose on the bottle. Now I'm gonna pull out my die and kind of decide where do I want that die and how am I going to offset it. I have a rubber stamp that I wanted to use from Penny Black, and when we're doing this, what we can do is we can set our die cut or our stamped image down, and we can kind of figure out how far over do I want that. Do I want it on the left, or do I want it on the right? Do I want to map that piece? How do I want to do it? I have a lot of flexibility when I design this way. So I can figure that out left or right, work that around. I might want it hanging off the edge. In this case, I didn't. I just wanted to center it on that panel. And now I have a second jig that I'm going to use that I keep in my package. It's just a 1 1/4 inch strip. And it is the straight edge that goes along the bottom of that die. So I can stick that on the bottom of the card edge and let that die line fit right against that piece of paper, my paper jig. And I know I have a straight line now, and I can tape it down, and I'm ready to die cut. I'm going to give you a really good close-up of what that's going to look like. Now we're ready to die cut. We're going to pull the jig and the stamp off, put that in our die cut machine, and die cut. I'm cutting today with the Vagabond. This is an electric die cutting machine. Great machine, easy to use, and we do sell that in our booth at trade shows. And we have a really good show special price. Now here's what I want to show you. This is my platform. I have the precision plate on it. You can see by looking at this, I have a lot of room to move the die to the left or to the right when I cut. So I can move that die around. Now I've taken the die out of the machine, and I've removed the die with the undo. You can see my cut lines, and you can see the score lines. Now you see I've got the undo on there. That will evaporate and dry clear. You don't need to worry about it. It's another reason why using liquid glue for adhesion of the blue paper is a really good idea, because the undo will remove that paper if you're using a tape runner type product. So we're going to fold that back and forth. It's a little bit more difficult to fold when you have 2 layers to fold, but I'm confident that you can figure that out. We're going to go to the back panel, and we're going to push that down. And that just made that wonderful base for that side step that we were looking at. Now you'll notice I have blue paper on the front of those little panels, but not in the back. In my situation, it didn't matter because I was die cutting the Creek Bank Creation landscape snow there, and it covered up the panels. And then I added the Creek Bank Creations evergreen trees. Those trees are accented with white Nuvo drops, and I threw a little silver in there too. So you can see how we have the ability to change right and left where that step card is going. This is shows the panel with the Creek Bank Creation stitched pennant die, and I'm able to make that panel wide enough to fit that whole entire sentiment on there. We have a whole new series of sentiments that are available now. This is a good one, and I've accented that card with the flowers from Paper Artsy again. Those are Joffy stamps. I've colored those with the Chameleon pencils. There's the Joffy stamp, just a fun stamp. It's got some words and some different elements on it. So that's how easy it is to use the step die. You can see how you can really end up with some really beautiful cards to make, and what a creative base you have to work off of. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. You can find these products on my website, creekbankcreations.com.